Okay, and I even got a remote control. So you're ready? Some scheduling with a chair. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm Jerome Etienne, and I will talk to you about tQuery. That's a library which unifies the three.js power with jQuery API usability. Hello, WebGL Camp. So that's who am I, coder, speaker, consulting. And the interesting part for us is I do Learning three.js blog. And that's a bunch of tutorials. You got something like 45 tutorials there about three.js on how to play with this technology. You can contact me with, oh, that's worked, super good. So contact me on Twitter, on GitHub. All right, so what is tQuery? tQuery is, in a few words, a thin library on top of three.js. three.js, to give you an idea, is so 100K gzip on minified. tQuery is on top, and that's 8K when I did the slide, but now that's like 6K. That's a dumb library. What do I mean by a dumb library? It's basically that's a different API. You got different default values, but you got all the same semantic. I do not try to do anything smart. In fact, I prevent myself. So if by mistake I do something smart, I put that in the plugin. So where did all that started? My goal, which I came from with Learning three.js blog, is to bring 3D to non-specialists. It's, as you heard quite a bit in the previous talk, WebGL without lib is a nightmare, and many people don't want that. So I thought a bit, and I was considering, okay, what is good for web dev? Usually they like jQuery quite a bit, based on number. Let's not do religious stuff. And so I'm trying hard to make a library which look a lot like jQuery, but is in fact doing three.js. Let's see what we can do. So with this library on the plugin, you do that in 40 lines. You drive that around. And that's 40 lines on top of the plugin. If you want to learn how to do that, you can go in the blog. There is a tutorial for that. Same stuff for my browser crashed. Come on. I'm a bit, that's a lonely moment when your browser crashes in the middle of a talk. See, proof. Kill page. So, same for this one. So this one is 20 lines. That's Minecraft characters. So you can take all the skins that you got usually. So let's say Mario, for example. You got a Mario. You got Superman. And you can reuse, as you see here, you can reuse other items and stuff like that. So 3D Jesus is my favorite, personally. And you can do your own. That's the main interest of Minecraft, is you can easily do your own asset without knowing more than. If this stuff crash every time I launch a demo, that's not gonna be cool. So little moment of loneliness because this stuff doesn't accept anything. Come on, crash for me now. Okay, cool. Kill page. That's a bad moment. Okay. So this demo, oh no, obviously I'm scared. So this demo is another Minecraft guy. This one is about animations. So I did some module in animation. You can do an animation for the body. For example, he's doing wave. The head is still, the head is doing now. And you got multiple devices like that. always trying to make cool things, but super easy to do. I don't know how long is this one. This one is 30 line, right? So that's pretty short, quite easy to teach as well. This one is a bit longer, but that's mainly because it can do much more. So if you got some sound, do you hear sound? Suppose you have sound. You have a button to turn. Maybe you hear. So you got some animation. You can look at the Minecraft character in the back. That's the referee and some animation. Blah blah blah. So this one is 100 line. When I wrote it, at least, it crashed again. Okay. Great. So every slide. Okay, great. Okay, so why the code is so short? The code is so short for a very important reason, and well, it is very important to be short, but it comes from mimicking jQuery. jQuery has a chained API, so obviously it makes the stuff tend to be short. On the other big part is the plugins, because once somebody has written the plugin, you don't have to rewrite it. You wrote a lot less code. You put a lot less bug, blah, 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 usual. So the main advantage is you don't repeat yourself, so you got faster. On configuration over convention over configuration means that we try to put good default in this. That means the command configuration you don't have to change. You change if you want something out of the command. So shortcode is a byproduct of the tQuery principle. Show us some code. This is a minimal page. That's the interesting part. Is you got 6 lines in there. That's a full HTML5 page. This is valid HTML5, believe it or not. And so what you got here? You go create a world. tQuery create world, boilerplate. Here you add a three.js boilerplate, and you start the rendering loop. After that, you create a torus. tQuery create torus, add to world. The result of those 6 lines is this. This is how I reach small code. So that's the recipe. So yes, as I said, and I got not much time, I will not detail much this, but tQuery is really three.js plus three.js plus jQuery ability, jQuery API usability. So three.js, that's probably already known for everybody, and that's just another API on top of three.js. It's really important. tQuery is just another API. You can go in and out three.js on jQuery. You can mix together very easily in the single project. It is very important for me not to jail anybody. To jail meaning that if you start your project in tQuery, no problem, you can switch part of it in pure three.js, even go WebGL if you want. So that's very modular, and you can pick the part that you like, or leave the one that you don't. Okay, so motivation already did, mostly because jQuery is known by a lot of people. They already know the syntax, they already know how to use it, they are comfortable with this environment. So all that is made for them to access WebGL more easily. So we take this compatibility with jQuery quite seriously. In tQuery, so you got all the key aspects of jQuery. The DOM tree that you got on the same on the web page, you got in tQuery. We call that a scene graph as usual, and 3D at least. We got chain API. We got ID on class on the element. We got CSS-like selectors with class IDs. You can combine them with hierarchy, everything. We got DOM elements. And I should have written something like a very the same plugin system that you got in jQuery. So here I explain the relation between the DOM tree and the scene. It's got 10 minutes left. So what you see here is tQuery foo class scale to translate 1. So here you select all the objects of your 3D scene with foo class as a class. You put that, you multiply the size by 2, and you go a little bit on the left. Here we put some ID on class. So cube, tQuery create cube. You put an ID. You add a class, and you put a data attribute on. Here I say Goomba. Okay, why not? So some CSS selectors, you can recognize those kind of things. Here we select by sphere or cube, so that's by geometry, exactly like you did in jQuery. You can do that with jQuery span, for example. The equivalent in tQuery is tQuery sphere, cube, text, all the geometry that you can find. This one is more about UI. So you do tQuery cube on click on this function. That means that you're gonna select all the cube of your scene and bind the click. And when you click, you're gonna execute this function. Pretty simple. Believe me, if you do that without libraries, that's, I don't know how many lines, but just to have the intersection with the object is not at all simple. So it's quite interesting to have a library. Hop. Do you think that's gonna start this one? So that's an example. When I click, it's moving, changing colors. So this one is a click, this one is a hover, so I don't have to click. And this one is when I start to click, it grow. It grow when I release. So you got basically all the mouse events that you can need. On top of that, I'm gonna add soon the selection, something like you're gonna drag drop, and we're gonna select object inside the 3D scene. That's to be done. Unfortunately, 2 ends on the crappy browser. Right. Changing. Another library that I did on top is to play with sound. So the sound that you hear is the music playing. Let me shut it down right now. And this is a FFT analysis of it on display live. So this one, I don't remember how big it is, but that's pretty small, 40 lines. It's crashing consistently, so cool. Okay, go to the next. This one is what I call the Doom characters, which is not exactly accurate. That's Quake 2 characters. This one, I don't remember the amount of line, is 50 lines. You can move around here. So the interesting part with when you got really short code. So I open the, how do you call that, the debuggers. We type something in there, something like characters. This is my Doom characters there. We do set skin. We do set skin tick 2, let's say. I think there is 7 or something like that. And change the skin. So we got. And if I put a number that it doesn't like, something like this, we got only the shadow. You can change this. Doesn't work. Wait. Let's put it back. You can change weapons as well. And you can easily reuse all the characters that you have in Quake 2, right? There is some exporters available in three.js, and you can do your own. So let's put a weapon in this guy. A weapon is with a number. So put a weapon. Another bigger, maybe. Yes. Yeah, so you can see how easy it can be, right? You just set a weapon. It's pretty cool. It's pretty not cool that this browser is crashing every demo. Okay, next. So what about a small game? So that's just to show, that's just a tunnel game with some obstacle on a big bug in the way it is rolling. Yeah, well. But, oh, by the way, you can see WebGL directly in the slide. I mean, it's pretty cool. I like the web. Okay, so the code of all that. To do the tunnel, we create cylinder and we flip the geometry because the tunnel is what? That's a cylinder seen from inside. So how to do a tunnel? You just create a cylinder, flip the geometry so you can see the inside, and after that you put the camera inside. And you got that. After that, here you put some textures and some lighting, and you got this funky Dr. Wu effect. Here you do the scrolling by just changing the texture offsets. So cube texture, material, texture scrolling. This is a plugin, a material plugin. Here you put the function, you receive the texture, or just change the offset. Because you change the offset of the texture, you believe, you have the impression at least, that you are advancing in the tunnel. But in fact, the tunnel is still, only the texture is moving. That's a bit like there is no spoon in Matrix. Okay, this one, how much time you have? Okay, 4 minutes. Yeah, great, super extension. I will leave some time for questions. So Fireball, which I can show you, or I will show you the last. How to move the player. We have a plugin to get the keyboard, so tQuery keyboard, quite simple. Here we hook a function in the rendering loop, so world, loop, hook. Here's the function that we hook. So this function gonna be run every time you try to render your scene. Keyboard press right will be true if you press the right arrow. And after that, you go to the right with your player. Keyboard press left will be true if you press left. So you do player angle -001. And this is going to the proper direction. I got something like 45 plugins at the moment. What the purpose of the plugin? It was to know if tQuery was a good recipe, how it reacts in the field. If you only do the framework, you don't really know if the framework is satisfying the good need. So all that is under MIT, GitHub, Jerome Etienne tQuery, and you can use the playground. You don't have so when you have internet, you can use the playground. And you don't have to install it. That's the main advantage of the playground. So you can go here and code stuff that you like, something like, I don't know, see if I do scale. And I change the layout of my keyboard, and hop, doesn't work at all. Excellent. It worked. Thanks for the demo. Okay. Question?
Thank you very much for this
question?
presentation.
Come on. Okay.
We have time for 2 questions.
Sure. Oh, sorry. Let's wait for that.
A question about how you manage timing. Is it all done on render animation frame, or do you have a separate timing loop?
It depends on which kind of timing you see, but let me find the function. In fact, in here, don't use it, but you got 2 parameters you have to receive here. One is delta, the other is now. Delta is the interval time since the last iteration, and now is the absolute time since the page load. All that in second. Other questions? No? Yeah, sure.
Okay, last question
for you.
The selector syntax is very, very neat.
Yes.
What sort of overhead does it have if you're doing lookups, if you're traversing the scene graph
Currently
every time you do this?
It's not optimized, so probably it's very significant overhead. Yeah. But you can cache. Currently, I don't cache internally, but you can cache externally. Probably I should cache. Honestly, I don't use it much at the moment, so I don't care. But if you use it, I will. Okay,
Thank you very much, Jerome.